Hogwarts is no longer safe. Whispers in the corridors, blood on the walls, a voice that only Harry can hear, speaking from the shadows. Enemies of the air, beware. What is the Chamber of Secrets? Who opened it? And why are students turning to stone? This year, secrets won't stay hidden, and the truth might kill. This is where magic meets danger.
Hello, everyone. Hi, all. Welcome to Book Podcast Zone. I'm Emma, and I'm really excited to unpack some truly incredible magic and quite a bit of mystery with you today.
And I'm John.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely eager to dive deep into the secrets that lie quite literally beneath Hogwarts this time around. You've given us this great stack of sources looking at the early chapters of a real classic, and our mission really is to guide you through every twist, every turn, and honestly, every hidden layer of meaning, because there's so much going on here.
Absolutely. It's not just about recapping the plot points, is it?
No, not at all. We want to explore the foundations of prejudice, which is, a huge theme right from the start, and the pitfalls of, well, false authority figures.
Oh, definitely. We see that quite a bit. And also that enduring power of chosen family. You know, the kind of family you find, not necessarily the one you're born into. These themes really define not just this book, but the whole series.
That's a great point. It all starts here, really laying the groundwork. So let's start this deep dive. We're not actually at Hogwarts yet, are we? We begin back in that, stifling is the only word for it.
Yeah.
That deeply oppressive atmosphere of Privet Drive.
Right. Number 4, and it's Harry's 12th birthday.
A truly miserable birthday. Completely ignored, utterly forgotten by the Dursleys. It's almost cruel in its indifference.
It is cruel. And it's not just the forgetting, it's the active suppression. His magic, his entire identity really is effectively locked away in that cupboard, or now his tiny bedroom with bars on the window. It's a profound picture of neglect.
And it emphasizes that feeling he has of just being trapped, completely cut off from the world where he actually felt like he belonged.
Exactly. And this isn't just, a sad opening chapter to get sympathy. It's crucial. It's like a crucible for Harry, forging his character.
How do you mean exactly?
Well, think about it. This initial isolation, this constant adversity, it's not just background noise. It's a foundational trial. Harry's resilience, his core sense of self, it's being hammered into shape right here in the face of just relentless negativity and, frankly, abuse.
So it sharpens him somehow.
I think so, yeah. It definitely sharpens his perception for later. It makes him incredibly appreciative of genuine warmth when he finds it. Think of the Weasleys later.
Right, the contrast is huge.
And it also makes him acutely aware of manipulation, of deceit, of cruelty. These are qualities that are going to be absolutely vital when he encounters figures like, well, Dobby, who we'll get to, the Weasleys certainly, Lockhart, Lucius Malfoy, even Tom Riddle himself.
So that yearning for the wizarding world isn't just about wanting cool spells and adventures.
Not at all. It's this fundamental, deep-seated longing for a place where he truly belongs, a place where he's seen, where he's valued. It's the absolute starkest contrast imaginable to his biological family, the Dursleys.
And, the sources we looked at highlight something interesting here, too, about how Rowling uses the Dursleys. It's not just about them being nasty individuals. There's a sort of social commentary baked in.
Oh, absolutely. They symbolize this almost obsessive focus on suburban status, on conformity, on normalcy above all else. What will the neighbors think? That's their driving principle.
Their absolute horror of anything different, anything unconventional, anything, well, magical.
Precisely. And that echoes some of the social anxieties and maybe the materialism that was quite prevalent in 1990s Britain, that Thatcher-era hangover, perhaps, that obsession with keeping up appearances.
That makes sense. And Harry, just by existing, by being who he is, stands against that. His quiet defiance, even just surviving their neglect, it's a powerful contrast to Uncle Vernon's, bellowing attempts to project normalcy and respectability.
It's a critique, isn't it? A critique of a society, or at least a segment of society, that values appearances over authenticity, over kindness, over pretty much everything else.
Yeah, there really is. That contrast you mentioned earlier, it makes his longing for the magical world, his eventual escape to Hogwarts, feel like genuine salvation. It's like that classic British boarding school story trope, escaping the horrible home life for the wonders of school.
Exactly, but it's imbued with this really quite sharp social subtext. It gives it more weight than just a simple escape fantasy.
And you really hear all of this, that stifling atmosphere, Harry's quiet endurance in the audiobook narration by Jim Dale.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Isn't he? His ability to capture Harry's voice, it's tender, but there's this gritty resilience underneath.
Yeah.
And the way he gives way to every little slight, every cruel jab from the Dursleys. It makes Harry's isolation feel incredibly personal.
You really feel it. You hear the loneliness, the longing in his delivery. It pulls you immediately into Harry's emotional state, and it perfectly sets the stage for his desperate need for connection, for escape. You understand why he needs Hogwarts so badly.
Yeah, you really do. Okay, so that's the miserable baseline established in Chapter 1, a really powerful start.
Definitely sets the stage.
And folks, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the layers of the story, please do take a moment to like, subscribe, and maybe share this with fellow fans. It really helps us keep bringing you this kind of analysis. Hashtag tagged Epilogy, Dobby's warning loyalty, sacrifice, and looming danger. All right, so into this suffocating silence, this isolation at Privet Drive, something utterly unexpected happens.
Top, right. Suddenly, there's Dobby.
Dobby, the house elf, materializing out of thin air. And he's described so vividly, scrawny, trembling, those huge bat-like ears and desperate tennis ball eyes.
Yeah, not what you expect to find in your bedroom. And he brings this urgent, almost frantic warning. There's a grave danger at Hogwarts this year, a terrible plot.
And he's desperately trying to keep Harry away from Hogwarts for his own safety, which of course leads to total chaos.
Absolute chaos. The hovering pudding charm, the violet pudding splattering everywhere, the owl from the ministry. It all lands Harry in even deeper trouble with Uncle Vernon. Bars on the window kind of trouble.
Locked in. It's a nightmare. But Dobby's arrival, it's more than just plot chaos, isn't it? It's a huge moment thematically.
Oh, absolutely. It's a masterstroke, really. In terms of world building, yes, introducing house elves and their magic. But more importantly, the themes it immediately throws up are profound. Loyalty, sacrifice, the hidden cost of freedom, or lack thereof.
You see that straight away with Dobby punishing himself.
Exactly. He's risking everything just to deliver this warning, and he's physically harming himself, banging his head on the wardrobe, ironing his hands later on as self-punishment for defying his unseen masters. It's a real gut punch of devotion, but also shows the horrifying reality of his existence.
It really highlights the moral complexities of the wizarding world that Harry, and maybe the reader too, is still learning about. It's not all wonder and spells.
Not at all. And from their broader perspective, Dobby's enslaved status, despite him clearly having powerful magic of his own, is such a pointed commentary. It feels like Rowling's reimagining of, historical class oppression, of servitude, particularly resonant maybe in a British context with its long history of service and class divides.
Like echoes of 19th century struggles for rights and freedom.
Sort of, yeah. It's a critique of systems that exploit and dehumanize beings based on their birth or status. Dobby's self-flagellation, the way he has internalized his own oppression to the point of punishing himself for even thinking disloyal thoughts. It's a really visceral depiction of systemic abuse.
It's deeply uncomfortable to witness.
It is, and it shows the deep psychological scars that kind of system leaves, which makes his eventual yearning and fight for freedom later in the series resonate so incredibly profoundly. It starts right here with this desperate, self-harming loyalty.
It's a devastating introduction, really. And the sheer urgency and chaos of that scene, the audiobook captures it so well.
Jim Dale again.
Yeah, his Dobby voice, it's frantic, high-pitched trembling. It perfectly captures the elf's desperate urgency, his terror, but also that unwavering, almost painful loyalty. You hear the fear in his voice.
So the self-sacrificing acts feel even more impactful.
Totally. And it really sets up the stakes. What is this danger he's warning about? The scene becomes this whirlwind of sound. You hear the pudding charm humming, the crash of the plates, Vernon's absolute roars of fury.
And Dale just puts you right in the middle of that escalating panic. You feel Harry's horror and confusion.
Exactly. It's brilliantly done. So Dobby arrives, warns Harry, causes chaos, and leaves Harry in an even worse situation. Chapter 2 is quite the roller coaster.
It really kicks the plot into gear and deepens the sense of impending doom.
If you're finding these insights into the themes and performances valuable, we'd love it if you could hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and maybe share it around. It makes a big difference. Hashtag TagTagC, the Burrow-finding family and belonging.
Okay, so Harry is locked in his room, bars on the window, fed through a cat flap. Things look pretty bleak.
Utterly bleak. But then, salvation arrives. And the most spectacular, slightly illegal, and incredibly heartwarming way possible.
The flying Ford Anglia.
Yes. Ron Weasley, along with his twin brothers Fred and George, swoops in, wrenches the bars off the window, and whisks Harry away in their dad's enchanted car, straight to the Weasley home, the Burrow.
And the Burrow. It's just perfect, isn't it? It's not just a house. It really feels like a living, breathing character in itself. Completely ramshackle, looks like it's held together by magic, which it probably is.
But it's bursting with warmth, with life, with his chaotic, loving charm. It's the absolute antithesis of Privet Drive,
That contrast is so immediate and striking. You go from the cold, judgmental sterility and silence of the Dursleys'
where
house
everything has to be perfect and normal.
to this place overflowing with noise and clutter and magic and, most importantly, unconditional love. And this is where that healing power of belonging really starts to work on Harry after that intense isolation.
It's more than just a temporary escape, isn't it?
Oh, much more. The burrow isn't just a haven, it fundamentally becomes Harry's true home. It's the first place, really, where he can finally just breathe, relax, and be himself without judgment, without constantly feeling like he has to apologize for his very existence.
And the Weasleys themselves embody that. Their
Yeah.
humility, their values.
Exactly. Their love for family and community clearly trumps any desire for wealth or status. And this connects, I think, quite deeply to those sort of post-World War II British working class values: solidarity, making do, finding joy in connection rather than possessions.
Which provides such a powerful counter-narrative to the Dursleys' grasping materialism and social climbing.
It really does. It emphasizes that true richness, true value, lies in connection, in shared humanity, in love. And that message, especially in 1990s Britain with widening economic divides, would have resonated very strongly. It reinforces that crucial idea that family isn't just about blood.
It's about who chooses to love you, who shows up for you, like Ron showing up in a flying car.
Precisely. It's earned love, chosen love.
And again, the audiobook experience here. Jim Dale just wraps you in the warmth of the burrow.
His Weasley voices are fantastic.
Aren't they? His Molly Weasley, bustling, warm, fiercely protective. His Arthur Weasley, kind, endearingly curious about Muggle things. Their voices are pure comfort. You can almost smell Mrs. Weasley's cooking, hear the ghoul banging in the attic, feel the slightly unstable structure of the house.
You feel the overflowing love radiating from every corner of that home, despite the lack of money. He makes it sound so alive.
It's a masterclass in vocal acting. It genuinely makes you wish you could just step into the book, pull up a chair at that chaotic kitchen table, and experience that sense of belonging for yourself. You feel the magic of family with every word he speaks.
Yeah, it makes the burrow feel like a character you love just as much as the human ones.
Absolutely. A true sanctuary. So Harry finds his found family, his real home. Chapter 3 is pure warmth and relief.
A much-needed balm after the first 2 chapters.
We hope you're feeling the warmth too. If this discussion about found families and cozy magical homes resonates with you, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the feeling with others. Okay, so Harry's had a taste of true belonging at the burrow. But the wizarding world isn't all warmth and safety, as we know. As they head towards the start of the school year, new layers of complexity and definitely danger start to reveal themselves.
Yeah, the shadows start creeping back in, even in familiar places, like Diagon Alley. It was a place of pure wonder for Harry in the first book.
His first real glimpse of the magical world.
Exactly. But now, even this vibrant, bustling street carries this faint underlying echo of menace. The stakes feel higher, #TagYEA, at Flourish and Blot's Prejudice and the planting of a mystery.
So the Weasleys and Harry head to Diagon Alley to get school supplies. And they end up in the bookshop, Flourish and Blot's, which is absolutely packed.
Right, because of him, Gilderoy Lockhart.
Oh, Lockhart. Our first proper introduction to him. Preening, utterly self-obsessed, dazzling smile, robes of forget-me-not blue, an absolute peacock of a wizard, signing copies of his autobiography, Magical Me.
He's sucking all the air out of the room. But then another key figure arrives, casting a very different kind of shadow.
Lucius Malfoy, Draco's father. Chillingly malicious, radiating arrogance and disdain.
And it's here, amidst the chaos of Lockhart's book signing and the Weasleys gathering their secondhand books, that this really subtle, almost unnoticeable, yet incredibly sinister act happens.
You could almost miss it. Lucius is mocking Arthur Weasley, mocking their poverty, mocking their association with Muggles.
And then he picks up Ginny Weasley's cheap, secondhand Transfiguration textbook and quietly, deliberately slips something else inside before handing it back to her.
A small, black, seemingly blank diary. It's such a quiet moment, but it just hums with this unspoken menace. You know it's important, even if you don't know why yet.
Exactly. And this whole scene, Flourish and Blots, it's packed with these immediate, palpable themes. Prejudice, first and foremost.
Lucius Malfoy's sneering about purebloods.
Right. Those aren't just casual insults he throws at the Weasleys and Hermione. They're a direct manifestation of that dark, elitist underbelly of the wizarding world we were talking about. This ideology, this belief in superiority, based purely on magical lineage.
It feels chillingly familiar.
It does. It resonates strongly with real-world supremacist movements, unfortunately. You know, the kind we saw gaining traction again in some parts of Europe, including Britain in the 1990s, often focused on race or class lines as indicators of inherent worth. It provides this disturbing contemporary parallel that makes the wizarding world feel less like pure fantasy and more like a distorted mirror of our own reality.
And then there's the manipulation, the diary.
Yes, that quiet, almost unnoticed introduction of the diary is just brilliant foreshadowing. It's not just a random plot device dropped in, it's the central piece of the entire puzzle for this book.
This seemingly innocuous object.
Yeah, this tatty old diary slipped into a little girl's cauldron. It's going to become this conduit for ancient evil. It's like a silent time bomb just waiting to detonate and unleash chaos within Hogwarts. The subtlety makes it even more insidious.
And the contrast between Lockhart and Malfoy in that scene is so stark. One is all flashy, surface-level vanity. The other is this cold, calculating malice.
And Jim Dale's narration, again, just emphasizes this perfectly. You hear Lockhart's voice, it's almost sickeningly smug, isn't it? So self-congratulatory.
Totally. Like he actually believes his own hype.
And then you contrast that sharply with Lucius's voice. Dale gives him this icy, clipped, sinister tone. You feel the contempt dripping off every word.
He makes their personalities just clash right there in the bookshop. And it makes the diary's introduction, that little sleight of hand, feel incredibly haunting. It's almost subliminal the way it happens amidst the noise, but it leaves you with this profound sense of unease.
You know something significant, something bad just happened, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it means yet. It's masterful storytelling.
It really is. Planting seeds of doubt and danger right in the middle of Diagon Alley. Chapter 4 packs a real punch.
It sets up major conflicts and the central mystery beautifully.
If you appreciate how these key elements are introduced, let us know with like and subscribe so you don't miss how these seeds of conflict grow. Sharing helps others find this analysis too. ##B, The Whomping Willow, Reckless Adventure, and Growing Bonds. All right, so supplies bought, Lockhart encountered, ominous diaries planted. Time to head to Hogwarts.
Except the magical barrier to Platform 9 3/4 seals itself right in front of Harry and Ron. They can't get through.
Leaving them stranded, watching the Hogwarts Express pull away without them. Panic stations.
Total panic. What do? Their solution is, well, it's bold.
It's incredibly bold and maybe a little bit reckless. They decide to commandeer Mr. Weasley's flying Ford Anglia, the same one used for the rescue, and fly it all the way to Scotland themselves.
Teenagers with a flying car. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. What follows is this truly thrilling, high-octane, slightly terrifying aerial adventure. They follow the train tracks, dodge Muggle sightings, deal with a malfunctioning invisibility booster.
Until they finally reach Hogwarts, only for the car to start failing completely as they descend.
Leading to their dramatic, bone-jarring, absolutely spectacular crash landing right into the branches of the Whomping Willow.
The most violent tree on the grounds, which proceeds to basically beat the car to a pulp.
And them along with it. The car then develops a mind of its own, ejects them and their luggage, and zooms off into the Forbidden Forest in a huff.
Adding insult to injury. And then, of course, they get caught by Snape,
whose fury is almost as terrifying as a tree. It's just this chaotic, heart-pounding arrival.
It really is. And this chapter, it's such a thrilling testament to that spirit of youthful rebellion, isn't it? And an ingenuity under pressure.
Definitely. Harry and Ron's choices here, they're incredibly risky, bordering on stupid, maybe.
But they aren't just random acts of defiance or panic. They're these catalytic moments. They force personal growth they had to navigate, work together, survive this ordeal. And crucially, it absolutely solidifies their friendship.
Facing mortal peril in a flying car will do that, I suppose.
Pretty much. It's a defining moment where their courage, their resourcefulness, and their interdependence are seriously tested and ultimately strengthened. They rely on each other completely.
It also feels very, well, British somehow. A slightly battered old Ford Anglia.
Yeah, there's definitely a nod there to that sort of 1990s British affection for quirky classic vehicles. Maybe a bit of nostalgia. Rowling masterfully blends this fondness for something familiar, like a specific model of car from the 60s.
With this utterly fantastical, magical, rebellious flair, making a mundane object into this vessel for high adventure. It's brilliant.
It really is. And the whole sequence just leaps off the page, or out of the speakers if you're listening.
Oh, Jim Dale's narration here is pure action movie. He turns the entire flight and crash into this incredibly dynamic cinematic experience.
You really hear the engine roaring, then sputtering.
Exactly. And the wind whistling past, the sudden lurches, and then the sheer wrath of the whomping willow, the cracking branches, the thuds against the car. Dale makes it all come alive.
It transforms what could be just a description of a crash into this heart-pounding, unforgettable thrill ride. You are in that car with them.
Feeling every bump, every near miss with a branch, the final shuddering impact. It's a real adrenaline rush for the listener. And then Snape's icy disapproval afterwards is the perfect come down.
A very rough landing, in every sense. Chapter 5 is pure adventure and consequence.
Definitely gets the blood pumping. If you enjoyed that thrill ride, maybe give us a like, subscribe for more Hogwarts adventures, and share the excitement.
Yeah.
#tag see Gilderoy Lockhart, the facade of fame.
So they survived the Whomping Willow, narrowly avoided expulsion thanks to Dumbledore and McGonagall.
And now it's time for classes to begin, including their first proper exposure to Hogwarts' brand new defense against the dark arts teacher.
The one, the only, Gilderoy Lockhart.
Ugh. With his ridiculously perfect golden curls, that blindingly white smile, robes in various shades of lilac and turquoise, and this overwhelming air of contrived heroism and self-importance.
He somehow manages to fool almost everyone, doesn't he? The adults seem charmed, many of the girls are swooning.
But not everyone. Harry, Ron, and especially Hermione see through him pretty quickly. Or at least they have serious doubts.
Their skepticism is immediate, and his disastrous first class proves them right almost instantly.
Oh, the Cornish pixies.
Yeah.
That is just pure, unadulterated comedy gold. He unleashes this cage full of mischievous, bright blue pixies.
Thinking it'll be a great practical lesson.
And they immediately wreak absolute havoc. Ink bottles smashed, books torn, Neville gets hung from the chandelier by his ears.
And Lockhart, he's completely useless. He tries a spell, fails miserably, and then basically tells Harry, Ron, and Hermione to clean up the mess while he makes a swift exit.
I'll just nip back to my office.
Yeah.
Leaving the three of them to deal with the chaos. It's hilarious, but also deeply revealing about his incompetence.
Absolutely. And here, Rowling is delivering this remarkably sharp and honestly quite enduring critique. It's about fame being completely divorced from substance. It's about competence being masked, or rather replaced by sheer charisma and PR.
He's all style, no substance.
Exactly. Lockhart is this larger-than-life caricature brilliantly used to expose how superficiality, a dazzling public image, and endless self-promotion can completely obscure a profound, almost dangerous lack of actual talent or real skill.
It's a hilarious takedown, but it's also pointed. It warns us about hollow bravado, about believing the hype. It reminds us that appearances can be incredibly deceiving.
And this character, this type, felt incredibly relevant in the 1990s, didn't it? Particularly in Britain, which had a very intense, often tabloid-driven celebrity culture.
Yeah, you can definitely see the parallels.
Public image often outweighed genuine ability or achievement. Lockhart becomes this perfect satire of that era, where style frequently triumphed over substance, and the ability to spin a good story about yourself was sometimes more valued than actually doing anything worthwhile. You could maybe even see parallels in U.S. celebrity culture, too, that obsession with image over talent.
That's a good point. It's a fairly universal type, unfortunately.
All right.
Charismatic fraud.
And you can almost just see him preening and posing as you read it.
Or listen to it. Jim Dale's Lockhart voice. It's just pure gold. It's exaggerated. It's smarmy. It drips with false modesty and overwhelming self-regard.
He absolutely nails it.
His delivery creates these genuine laugh-out-loud moments, like when he's recounting his supposed heroic deeds or failing spectacularly with the pixies. It perfectly highlights the character's comedic absurdity.
You find yourself simultaneously amused by his ridiculousness and utterly exasperated by his incompetence and vanity. Dale's performance ensures Lockhart's character, in all his foolish glory, truly sticks with you.
He's unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Chapter 6 is a masterclass in character satire.
And a warning about misplaced admiration.
Enjoying the takedown of Lockhart? Let us know with a like, subscribe to catch all our character analyses, and share this with anyone who appreciates a good satire. Okay, so Lockhart is a comical disaster, but as the school year really gets underway, the atmosphere at Hogwarts starts to shift. That background hum of unease begins to morph into something far more sinister.
Yeah, the lighthearted moments start getting fewer and farther between, and the deep-seated divisions within the wizarding world begin to rear their ugly heads right inside the castle walls. Hashtag gay mudbloods and murmurs the sting of prejudice.
This chapter,
Yep.
Chapter 7, This is where the story takes a much darker, more serious, and frankly deeply uncomfortable turn.
Yeah, it hits hard. It happens during a Gryffindor Quidditch practice that gets interrupted by the Slytherins, led by Draco Malfoy, who's just been made their new seeker.
Thanks to his father buying the whole team fancy new brooms.
Naturally. And the confrontation escalates, insults fly, and then Draco unleashes it. That word.
Mudblood, directed straight at Hermione.
And the impact is immediate, visceral. Ron is so furious he tries to curse Malfoy, but his broken wand backfires, causing him to vomit slugs. But the real damage is the word itself.
It's not just a playground insult, is it? It cuts like a knife. It starkly reveals this deep-seated, ugly prejudice against muggle-born witches and wizards that exists right at the heart of the wizarding world.
It's hate speech, plain and simple. And Rowling doesn't shy away from showing its impact. Hermione is shaken, deeply hurt. Ron explains the terrible weight and history behind the slur.
Simultaneously as this happens, those whispers about the Chamber of Secrets, the legend, start to spread more seriously. People are talking about it, remembering the old stories.
Right, so you have this overt act of bigotry coinciding with this growing, chilling sense of fear and unease spreading throughout Hogwarts. The two feel connected somehow.
This chapter is just a raw, unflinching exploration of discrimination. It shows how a single word, loaded with prejudice, can wound so profoundly, how it's designed to create division and assert superiority.
And Hermione's reaction, her quiet strength afterwards, her determination not to let Malfoy see how much it hurt, and her friend's fierce defense of her. It stands out as this beacon of hope and resilience in the face of such bigotry. It reminds us that true dignity comes from within, not from purity of blood.
You mentioned earlier how Lucius's prejudice echoed 1990s issues. This feels even more direct.
I think so, yes. The mudblood slur, the social tensions it represents, it directly mirrors the struggles Britain was facing in the 1990s with issues like xenophobia, racism, and ongoing class discrimination. Using a fantasy slur allows Rowling to explore the mechanics and impact of real-world bigotry in a way that's perhaps more accessible, but no less powerful.
It shows how historical prejudice, that obsession with lineage and purity, can manifest in new, disturbing forms, making it feel disturbingly real and relevant far beyond just a magical school story.
It's a powerful allegorical tool. It forces you to confront the ugliness of prejudice wherever it appears.
And Jim Dale's performance in this scene, particularly Malfoy, it's utterly venomous.
You really feel the hate.
Oh, completely. You can feel the pure, unadulterated spite behind his words when he spits out that slur. And then, the aftermath Dale conveys the shock, Ron's sputtering rage, Hermione's quiet hurt. The raw emotional delivery makes the prejudice feel disturbingly real and deeply painful for the listener.
It really hits home how devastating a single word, steeped in generations of bias and hatred, can truly be.
Absolutely. A very powerful, very important chapter. It raises the stakes significantly.
It certainly does. The personal and the legendary threats are starting to intertwine.
If you found this discussion on prejudice and its impact meaningful, please consider liking and subscribing. Sharing this might also help spark important conversations. #B. The Death Day Party, Gothic Whimsy, and Lingering Danger. Okay, after the ugliness of the mudblood incident, the story takes a turn for the spectral and slightly bizarre.
Ha ha ha, yes. Nearly Headless Nick's Death Day Party, celebrating 500 years since his partial decapitation.
It's such a unique scene. Harry, Ron, and Hermione get invited down to the dungeons to attend this party exclusively for ghosts. And the atmosphere is described so vividly, it's bizarre, yet somehow strangely accepting.
Freezing cold, damp dungeons, ghostly orchestras playing musical saws, moaning Myrtle sulking in a corner.
And the food. Banquet tables groaning with rotting, moldy, translucent versions of party food, designed to appeal to ghosts who can only vaguely taste it. Maggoty haggis, anyone.
It's wonderfully gothic and macabre, but also quite funny in a dark way. The ghosts are complaining about Sir Patrick Delaney Podmore and the Headless Hunt. It feels like a real community, albeit a spectral one.
But it's during this otherworldly, slightly comical celebration that something genuinely chilling happens.
Right. As they're leaving the party, Harry hears it for the first time. This voice.
A voice that no one else can hear? Cold, menacing, whispering about killing, about ripping and tearing, seems to be coming from inside the walls themselves.
It's incredibly creepy. And it leads him, following the voice, away from Ron and Hermione and up through the castle.
This chapter brilliantly blends that whimsical, almost humorous side of the wizarding world. Even ghosts have social anxieties and parties, with a growing sense of mystery and danger.
Yeah, it offers this surprising glimpse into the acceptance within the spectral community, their own little society. But it's also the precise moment where the overall tone of the book subtly shifts again. It goes from quirky and atmospheric to genuinely eerie.
That mysterious, chilling voice is introduced, and it's a haunting sound that signals much darker. Unseen forces are definitely at play within Hogwarts now, something ancient and hidden.
And Rowling is drawing on a rich tradition here, isn't she? She's expertly fusing those traditional British Gothic tales, haunted castles, spectral encounters, things that go bump in the night, with a distinctly 1990s sense of slightly absurd humor and modern folklore sensibility.
It creates this really unique atmosphere. It's hauntingly fun in a way.
Yeah.
Even the ghosts seem relatable. They crave belonging, they hold grudges.
But the danger lurking just beneath that surface, embodied by that voice, is very real and about to reveal itself. It's a clever transition.
And the audiobook really brings that spectral party to life. Jim Dale's ghost voices are incredible.
Does he give them all distinct voices?
He really does. Nearly Headless Nick sounds appropriately refined, but slightly put upon. Moaning Myrtle is perfectly whining and miserable. The other ghosts have their own eerie wails and whispers. He creates this whole range of spectral sounds that are both eerie and somehow playful.
So he keeps listeners enchanted by the sheer oddity and novelty of the party.
Exactly. While subtly, expertly building suspense with that disembodied voice Harry hears, Dale delivers those lines rip, tear, kill, with this chilling resonance that contrasts sharply with the party noise. It's a whisper of pure menace that only Harry and the listener can perceive.
It's a masterclass in controlling tone, slowly ratcheting up the tension towards the next big reveal.
Definitely. A wonderfully weird and ultimately quite frightening chapter. Chapter 8 leaves you with a real sense of foreboding.
The plot thickens. Or perhaps congeals, like the party food.
Haha, indeed. If you enjoy exploring these unique corners of the wizarding world, give us a like and subscribe for more. Sharing helps other fans find our deep dives too. ##C. The writing on the wall, the chamber revealed.
So Harry follows that terrifying voice up through the castle.
Drawn by its whispers of murder, completely ignoring Ron and Hermione calling after him. He ends up on the second-floor corridor just as hundreds of students are pouring out of the Great Hall after the Halloween feast.
And then everyone sees it. The horror.
It's a truly horrifying discovery. Mrs. Norris, Argus Filch's scrawny beloved cat, is hanging stiffly from a torch bracket by her tail. Petrified. Not dead, but frozen like a statue.
Eerily preserved. And above her, scrawled across the stone wall in huge, glistening letters.
Letters that look disturbingly like blood. The message is there for everyone to see. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware.
Chilling. Absolutely chilling. And the impact is immediate. Utter silence falls over the crowd, then panic, fear.
And suspicion. Because who is standing right there, at the scene of the crime, seemingly drawn there by unseen forces? Harry Potter.
Exactly. Filch immediately accuses him. Draco Malfoy fuels the fire with his taunt. Enemies of the air, beware! You'll be next, mudbloods. The connection is made instantly in people's minds.
This moment unleashes this immediate, overwhelming surge of fear throughout Hogwarts. The legend wasn't just a story, it's real. And someone, the heir of Slytherin, is targeting people. And suspicion instantly falls completely unjustly upon Harry.
Why him specifically, though, apart from being there?
Well, partly because he was there seemingly alone, but also because he's already seen as different. He survived Voldemort, he's famous, and soon his ability to speak Parseltongue will come out, linking him to Slytherin in many people's eyes. He fits the bill of someone unusual, someone powerful, someone potentially dangerous if you're scared and looking for answers.
So this is where the horror truly begins. It escalates dramatically from disembodied whispers and ghost parties to undeniable, terrifying reality. A physical attack, a threatening message.
And it powerfully explores how rumors, combined with raw fear, can so quickly vilify the innocent, how perception can be twisted by panic, leading to irrational suspicion and judgment.
Harry, the hero of the first book, The Boy Who Lived, suddenly becomes the prime suspect. Simply because he's different, because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, because fear needs a target.
And this phenomena, this rush to judgment in the face of fear and the unknown, it feels very real, doesn't it? You can see parallels to those societal anxieties we talked about, maybe in 1990s Britain or even today.
Absolutely. Periods of significant social change, economic uncertainty, or perceived threats often spark public panic. And that panic frequently leads to a kind of mob mentality, a desperate search for someone to blame, someone to scapegoat, to make sense of the chaos. Rowling captures that universal human tendency very effectively here.
You can almost feel the dread radiating from the stone of the castle in that scene, and the audiobook makes it even more potent.
Jim Dale's narration.
Oh yeah. His delivery of that message on the wall, the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. It's ominous. It absolutely pulses with dread. He transforms it into this truly spine-chilling, unforgettable moment for the listener.
Every word drips with menace.
Completely. It makes the threat feel incredibly real, tangible, immediate. And it makes Harry's sudden isolation, the way the crowd stares at him, the suspicion in their eyes, feel even more potent and unjust. You feel the weight of that accusation landing on him.
A terrifying climax to the first part of the book's mystery. Chapter 9 changes everything.
It really does. The game has changed. It's no longer just whispers. If you felt that chill down your spine too, let us know with a like. Subscribe to follow the unfolding mystery and share if you know others gripped by the Chamber's secrets. Okay, so the chamber is open, a message is on the wall, Mrs. Norris is petrified, and Harry is suspect number one in the eyes of many. The terror is real now, gripping Hogwarts.
But Harry, Ron, and Hermione aren't just going to stand by and let fear paralyze them or let Harry take the blame. They refuse to be passive victims.
Absolutely not. Their courage, their friendship, and their ingenuity are about to be put to the ultimate test as they actively start seeking ways to unravel this mystery, find the real heir, and confront the growing threat head-on.
Versailles.
#A. The rogue bludger courage under pressure.
The intensity just keeps ramping up. It doesn't let up for a second, does it?
Not at all. Next, we're thrown right back into the action, this time on the Quidditch pitch. Gryffindor versus Slytherin. Always a tense match.
But this one is different. From the very start, one of the bludgers, those heavy, bewitched balls that fly around trying to knock players off their brooms, seems to have gone rogue.
Completely rogue. It ignores every other player on the pitch and focuses solely, relentlessly on hunting down Harry. It's clearly been tampered with, bewitched to attack him specifically.
It's incredibly dangerous. Harry is dodging it constantly, trying to focus on finding the snitch while this cannonball is trying to take his head off. It's a display of incredible flying skill just to survive.
It is. But eventually, despite his skill, the bludger catches him. It smashes into his arm with brutal force. You hear the crack.
A sickening sound? But even with a broken arm dangling uselessly, Harry manages to catch the snitch, winning the match for Gryffindor before collapsing.
Pure grit and determination. But the chaos isn't over, because then Lockhart tries to help.
Oh no, Lockhart's healing spell, instead of mending the bones.
He removes them entirely, leaving Harry with a floppy, rubbery, boneless arm. Utterly useless and, frankly, quite horrifying. He has to spend the night in the hospital wing regrowing the bones, which sounds excruciating.
A painful night. But it's during this time, while Harry is laid up, that Dobby reappears briefly.
Yes. Dobby confesses it was him who bewitched the bludger. Not to kill Harry, but to injure him badly enough that he'd have to leave Hogwarts, to save him from the danger Dobby knows is coming. It reinforces Dobby's desperate, misguided loyalty.
And while Harry is recovering, Hermione isn't idle. This attack, coupled with the voice Harry heard and the petrified cat, pushes her into serious research mode in the library.
And her digging starts to point towards a terrifying, ancient, and incredibly dangerous possibility for what might be lurking in the chamber. A creature spoken of only in hushed tones.
The basilisk, king of serpents, whose gaze can kill instantly.
This whole chapter, the Quidditch match, the injury, Lockhart's incompetence, Dobby's confession, Hermione's research. It's a brilliant showcase of so many things. Firstly, Harry's raw courage and sheer grit.
Absolutely. Facing direct, physical, potentially lethal danger, refusing to give up even when injured. It's not just about winning the game, it's about his determination to push through despite this immense targeted threat. He won't be intimidated.
And this life-threatening challenge, it also profoundly strengthens the trio's teamwork and bond, doesn't it? Ron defends Harry, Hermione immediately starts researching to protect him. They face this external menace together.
It reinforces their reliance on each other's unique strengths. Harry's courage and flying skill, Ron's loyalty, Hermione's intellect and research abilities, they function as a unit.
And you mentioned Quidditch reflecting 1990s sports rivalries earlier.
Yeah, Rowling infuses Quidditch with that intense competitive energy. You feel the crowd, the rivalry, the dramatic flair of athletic competition that was and is huge in Britain. Think of those big football rivalries.
But here it's amplified with magic, and with a truly life-threatening twist in this case. It pushes the boundaries of a simple game into something much more perilous.
It really does. And the narration must be intense here, too.
Oh, Jim Dale absolutely throws you into the stadium. His commentary is breathless, high energy. You feel like you're watching a live sports broadcast, but with potentially fatal consequences.
If you're the bludger whizzing past.
You can. Every dodge Harry makes, every near miss, the swoosh of the bludger, and then that bone-shattering impact when it finally connects. Dale delivers it with incredible clarity and force. It's both exhilarating and genuinely painful to listen to. A real adrenaline rush.
Sounds gripping. So more danger, more clues pointing towards something truly monstrous. Chapter 10 keeps the pressure high.
Extremely high. If you felt the intensity of that Quidditch match, hit that like button. Subscribe to see how they use these clues, and share this with your Quidditch-loving friends. #BB. The Dueling Club Identity and Myth Understanding. All right, the basilisk theory is now floating around thanks to Hermione's research, although they don't have proof yet, and suspicion is still swirling around Harry. Things get even worse for him in Chapter 11.
Yeah, this is where things take another really unfortunate turn for Harry's reputation. Lockhart, in his infinite wisdom, decides to start a dueling club.
To teach students how to defend themselves, supposedly, though really it seems more like an excuse for him to show off.
Naturally. And his first demonstration involves him dueling Snape, which goes about as well as you'd expect for Lockhart. Snape disarms him instantly with a simple Expelliarmus.
Humiliating for Lockhart, satisfying for everyone else. But then Lockhart has the bright idea of pairing students up to practice, and who does he pair Harry with?
Draco Malfoy, of course,
Oh.
was inevitable.
Their duel starts, simply enough. Disarming charms, tickling charms. But then Malfoy raises the stakes dramatically. He conjures a snake, a large black snake that rears up, ready to strike the watching students, particularly Justin Finch-Fletchley.
Panic erupts, but then Harry does something instinctive, something he doesn't even understand himself.
He speaks to the snake, tells it to leave Justin alone. Not in English, but in this strange hissing language, Parseltongue.
And the snake, it calms down, it lowers its head, seemingly obeying him. But the crowd doesn't see a rescuer.
No, they see Harry Potter speaking the language of snakes, the language associated with Salazar Slytherin himself and with dark wizards. They look terrified. They think he was egging the snake on, not calming it down.
The revelation is dramatic, public, and utterly damning in the eyes of his peers. Suddenly, the whispers about him being the heir of Slytherin seem confirmed to many. Why else would he possess this incredibly rare, dark-associated ability?
He's stunned, confused, and suddenly finds himself completely ostracized. People are avoiding him, whispering behind his back. Even Ron and Hermione are shocked, though they stick by him.
This moment is so powerful, so isolating for Harry. And it's this sudden plunge into suspicion and fear that directly propels the trio towards their next desperate plan.
They realize they need concrete answers. They need to know if Malfoy is the heir, and the only way to find out is to question him directly, which leads them to the idea of
the Polyjuice Potion, a complex, dangerous potion that allows the drinker to assume the physical appearance of another person, their plan, turn into Slytherins, and infiltrate their common room to interrogate Malfoy.
This chapter, the dueling club scene, it's pivotal. It profoundly explores that theme of identity again, but also how fear and misunderstanding can tragically warp perception.
Absolutely. Harry's innate ability, something he can't control and doesn't understand, is immediately twisted into a sign of malevolence. It leads to this intense prejudice against him simply because he's different, because he possesses this unusual, historically feared power.
And Harry's own struggle with this revelation is huge. What does it mean about him? Is he connected to Slytherin? Is there darkness inside him? It's a core part of his character arc, forcing him to confront not just who he is, but how others see him, and how that perception shapes his reality.
And that stigma attached to Parseltongue in the wizarding world, it vividly reflects those real-world cultural fears of otherness we keep coming back to. Think about how linguistic or cultural divides historically and even in the 1990s could lead to suspicion, marginalization, sometimes outright hostility.
It's a powerful echo of historical patterns of bigotry, showing how easily difference can be misinterpreted as a threat, especially when people are already scared.
Exactly. Fear makes people irrational.
And Jim Dale's narration captures that moment of public shock, Harry's confusion, and his sudden, painful isolation perfectly.
How does he convey the crowd's reaction?
Through the voices. You hear the initial excitement of the duel, then Malfoy's spell, the collective gasp, the sudden fearful silence, the terrified whispers starting up. He amplifies the tension in the room, making Harry's abrupt and unfair isolation, the sheer weight of suspicion falling on him, palpably real for the listener.
You feel that wave of condemnation and fear washing over him.
You really do. It's a devastating moment publicly, but it also pushes the plot forward into a new, risky phase. Chapter 11 is crucial for both character and plot.
Definitely raises the personal stakes for Harry even higher.
Intrigued by the Parseltongue revelation and the planet sparks? Give us a like, subscribe to see if the Polyjuice Potion plan works, and share with anyone fascinated by identity and perception. Hashtag Jessley. The Polyjuice Potion ingenuity and hilarious misadventure. Okay, so the plan is hatched. Brew Polyjuice Potion, turn into Slytherins, and get Malfoy to spill the beans about being the heir of Slytherin. Simple, right?
Haha, hardly. First of all, Polyjuice Potion is incredibly complex and takes a month to brew. And the ingredients are restricted, some needing to be stolen from Snape's private stores.
Which requires Hermione's cleverness for diversion. Hello. Fireworks swelling solution incident in potions class. And Harry's invisibility cloak for the actual theft of bicorn horn and boomslang skin.
Plus, they need a private place to brew it without being discovered.
Yeah.
Enter Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, the out-of-order girl's bathroom on the second floor, haunted by the perpetually miserable ghost.
Who becomes their unlikely, albeit whiny, confidante. So for weeks, they secretly brew this bubbling, disgusting-looking potion in a toilet stall.
While simultaneously trying to figure out how to get hairs from the Slytherins, they want to impersonate Crabbe and Goyle for Harry and Ron, and Millicent Bulstrode for Hermione.
Leading to a staged fight during the dueling club for Ron to grab Goyle's hair, and Hermione managing to get Bulstrode's during a scuffle. Harry gets crabs from a floating potion muffin. Very smooth.
Finally, on Christmas Day, while most students are gone, the potion is ready. Thick, dark, bubbling mud. They dose Crabbe and Goyle with sleeping draught-laced cakes, steal their shoes, because the potion doesn't change clothes or shoes, and add the hairs to their individual doses.
And the transformation sounds intense, painful, bubbling, distorting. Harry becomes a perfect replica of Goyle, Ron becomes Crabbe, but Hermione.
Uh-oh. Hermione hesitates to come out of her stall when she finally does. She hasn't turned into Millicent Bulstrode. She's covered in black fur, has yellow cat eyes, pointy ears, and a tail.
She accidentally used a cat hair from Millicent's robes, not Millicent's hair.
And Polyjuice Potion isn't meant for animal transformations. It's a disaster. And she's stuck like that for weeks.
Hilarious, but also awful for her. Leaving Harry and Ron to go into the Slytherin common room alone, disguised as Crabbe and Goyle, while Hermione recovers in the hospital wing.
This whole chapter, the brewing, the mishaps, Hermione's transformation, it's a fantastic showcase of several things. Firstly, the trio's incredible ingenuity and resourcefulness. Definitely. They identify a problem, research a solution, however risky, plan meticulously, and execute it with considerable skill, despite the setbacks. They are willing to take these huge risks for the truth and for each other.
And their unwavering bond. Even when Hermione is stuck as a cat girl, she's still focused on the mission, urging them to go on.
And the humor. It's crucial here. Brewing potion in a toilet, Ron's reactions to being Crabbe, and especially Hermione's furry predicament. It injects much-needed comedic relief right into the middle of this dangerous, high-stakes situation.
It reinforces their friendship, reminds us they're still kids, in a way, having these slightly absurd adventures even while facing serious threats. It highlights that lighter side of their spirit.
And you mentioned spy tropes earlier. This feels very much like that, doesn't it? The disguises, the infiltration, the secret mission.
Totally. It connects to that 1990s pop culture fascination with spy stories, disguised tropes, maybe even body swap comedies, which were popular in films and kids lit back then. Rowling masterfully blends these familiar elements with the unique rules of magic,
making it both thrillingly tense. Will they get caught? Will the potion wear off?
Yeah.
And genuinely laugh out loud funny, especially the Hermione part.
And Jim Dale just absolutely brings the house down with Hermione's transformation. His comedic timing is impeccable.
You can hear the fur.
Haha. Not literally, but his voices for Harry and Ron reacting to her own muffled, horrified sounds from the stall, and then her desperate, slightly feline yowls of distress. It's pure comedic gold. He turns a moment of disastrous magic into something genuinely hilarious and memorable for the listener.
It's a testament to his vocal range, finding the humor even in a botched transformation amidst all the suspense.
Absolutely. So the Polyjuice plan hits a major snag, but Harry and Ron press on. Chapter 12 is a brilliant mix of tension and comedy.
Shows their determination even when things go wrong.
Did Hermione's furry fate make you chuckle? Give us a like, Subscribe to find out if Harry and Ron succeed in Slytherin and share this humorous misadventure. ###D. The very secret diary, memory, manipulation, and a glimpse of evil. So, Harry and Ron, disguised as Crabbe and Goyle, manage to get into the Slytherin common room. Malfoy finds them, assumes they're his usual cronies, and starts bragging.
But does he confess to being the heir?
No, quite the opposite. He actually seems disappointed that the attacks have stopped. He complains that his father told him the chamber was opened 50 years ago and the last time a mudblood died. He wishes he knew who the heir was, but he doesn't. So the whole risky polyjuice mission, kind of a bust in terms of finding the heir.
A dead end. But valuable information nonetheless, confirmation the chamber was opened before and someone died.
Exactly. But then shortly after this, Harry finds something else. Something seemingly unrelated back in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom where they brewed the potion.
What does he find?
A diary. A small black, battered-looking diary, lying soaked on the floor. It's completely blank inside. No name. Nothing. He picks it up, intrigued.
A blank diary? That sounds suspicious, given what we know Lucius Malfoy did earlier.
Right. Harry takes back to the dorm, tries writing in it, asking, "Who do you belong to?" And, incredibly, words appear on the page in response, forming sentences. "My name is Tom Marvolo Riddle."
Whoa! The diary writes back.
It does. And Riddle claims he can show Harry what happened 50 years ago, the last time the chamber was opened. Harry agrees, and the diary pulls him in. Literally.
Pulls him into the diary.
Yes, into a ghostly black and white memory. He finds himself standing unseen in Hogwarts 50 years in the past. He watches a younger teenage Tom Riddle confronting the then headmaster Dippet about the attacks. Riddle seems concerned, earnest.
Playing the part of the good student.
Totally. Then Harry follows Riddle through the castle at night. Riddle catches another student, a large, bumbling boy, seemingly trying to smuggle a creature out of the castle. That student is Rubeus Hagrid.
Young Hagrid.
Young Hagrid. And Riddle accuses Hagrid's creature, hidden in a box, of being the monster that killed the student, Myrtle it turns out, and attacked others. Riddle reports Hagrid. Hagrid is expelled and the attacks stop. Riddle is praised, given an award for special services to the school.
So the diary shows Harry that Hagrid was the one who opened the chamber 50 years ago, and his monster was responsible.
That's exactly what the memory, curated by Tom Riddle, shows Harry. It's a chilling, seemingly conclusive piece of evidence. It reveals the seductive and profoundly dangerous power of this diary's dark magic. It doesn't just record memories, it selects and presents them.
This chapter is huge. It introduces this incredibly potent and complex theme of memory, how the past isn't static, how it can be manipulated, how it can profoundly haunt and even reshape the present.
Riddle emerges here not just as a character in a memory, but as this shadowy puppet master. He's actively manipulating Harry, feeding him this carefully constructed, distorted narrative that conveniently paints Hagrid as the villain and himself as the hero.
It's a chilling look at how easily history can be rewritten, or at least selectively presented, to serve dark, malicious purposes. How truth can be twisted.
And thinking about the context again, the 1990s, this feels relevant too, doesn't it? The power of narrative, maybe?
Absolutely. The diary's manipulative power strongly reflects those growing 1990s concerns about media influence, the reliability of information, the dangers of unchecked, unverified sources. Especially with the dawn of the internet age just around the corner, information could be weaponized.
So the diary functions as this warning. It subtly but powerfully urges critical thinking. It asks you, the reader, along with Harry, to question what you see and hear, especially when it comes from a source that seems charming or helpful or provides easy answers.
Particularly when that source is a talking diary found in a haunted bathroom. Red flags.
Definitely red flags. And the way Jim Dale performs this, the diary scenes are genuinely unsettling.
His Tom Riddle voice.
It's eerie. It's smooth, intelligent, slightly unnervingly charming, but with this underlying coldness. When Riddle speaks through the diary or in the memory, Dale gives him this menacing quality that truly sends shivers down your spine.
He immerses you in that creepy intimacy of communicating with the diary, and then the slightly detached black and white feel of the memory itself. It creates this gripping sense of dread.
You could almost feel the cold, corrupting influence emanating from that voice, drawing Harry and the listener into its deceptive narrative. It's incredibly effective.
Wow. So the diary provides answers, but maybe the wrong answers. Chapter 13 adds a massive layer of deception.
Absolutely. A game changer. Fascinated by the mystery of Tom Riddle's diary? Hit like, subscribe to see how Harry deals with this revelation, and share with fellow mystery lovers. #MeV, Authority's Blindness, and the Ultimate Confrontation. Okay, so Harry now possesses Tom Riddle's diary, which seems to definitively prove that Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago. Meanwhile, in the present, the attacks are escalating.
Right. Justin Finch Fletchley, the Hufflepuff boy the snake nearly attacked, gets petrified. And, horrifyingly, so does nearly headless Nick, the Gryffindor ghost.
Proving that whatever is attacking isn't just targeting Muggleborns and can even affect ghosts. Fear and paranoia are at an absolute fever pitch within the castle. Dumbledore is trying to maintain calm, but things are spiraling.
And it's into this charged atmosphere that the established authority figures make their move. And it's not exactly helpful. #tag fudge injustice and bureaucracy's failures.
As the fear intensifies, we witness this heartbreaking, absolutely infuriating injustice unfold. The Minister of Magic himself, Cornelius Fudge, arrives at Hogwarts, along with Lucius Malfoy, who is a school governor.
Not a good sign having those two show up together.
Not at all. And they're not there to offer solutions. Fudge, under pressure to be seen doing something, has decided to arrest Hagrid, based purely on his past history from 50 years ago, the history Harry just saw in Riddle's diary.
So they're arresting him for the current attacks based on Riddle's version of the past, despite no actual evidence connecting him now.
Exactly. Hagrid pleads his innocence, Dumbledore vouches for him, but Fudge is adamant. He needs a scapegoat, someone to blame to quell public panic. Hagrid is taken away, heading for the wizarding prison, Azkaban. It's devastating.
That's terrible. And Lucius Malfoy, what's his role?
He's there with an order, signed by all 12 school governors, demanding Dumbledore's suspension as headmaster. They claim he's not handling the situation, that he's lost control. Dumbledore accepts this calmly, but warns them that Hogwarts will suffer without him and that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
So the two people most likely to actually solve the mystery and protect the students, Hagrid, who might know something about the creature, and Dumbledore, the most powerful wizard, are removed from the school, driven out by bureaucracy and political maneuvering.
Precisely. It's all orchestrated and driven by Fudge, who seems utterly bumbling and incompetent, completely incapable of grasping the real threat. He's blinded by his own vanity, his fear of public opinion, and his desire for political convenience. Lucius Malfoy clearly manipulated the governors.
This whole sequence is just Rowling's sharpest, most poignant critique yet of flawed authority figures, and how bureaucracy, how systems of power can spectacularly fail the most vulnerable and the most innocent.
Fudge's actions highlight that universal, frustrating truth. How political expediency, the need to appear decisive, and a desperate desire to maintain the status quo can completely overshadow genuine investigation and lead to dire, unjust consequences. Hagrid is sacrificed for appearances.
It's infuriating to witness his blunders, his refusal to listen to Dumbledore, and it just solidifies the trio's burning frustration, doesn't it? It renews their resolve. They know Hagrid is innocent. They have to fight for justice themselves outside these corrupt systems of power.
And this portrayal of Fudge, it really taps into that vein of government skepticism we talked about earlier, which was definitely present in 1990s Britain. That public distrust of red tape, of bureaucratic inefficiency, of political spin over substance.
Fudge becomes this very relatable, if infuriatingly exaggerated caricature of ineffective governance. His blunders, his self-importance, his short-sightedness, they feel all too familiar sometimes in the real world, regardless of the specific political system. It's a critique of a type of leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jim Dale just perfectly captures the essence of this frustrating character. Fudge's voice.
Pompous. Blustering.
Exactly. Pompous, often flustered when challenged, slightly self-important, and profoundly demonstrably incompetent. Dale's voice performance perfectly conveys the infuriating nature of his blunders and the profound injustice being inflicted on Hagrid and Dumbledore.
You can almost feel the sheer exasperation radiating from Harry, Ron, and Hermione having to deal with this character when the stakes are so incredibly high. He's an obstacle, not a help.
Totally. A tragic failure of leadership at the highest level. Chapter 14 is deeply frustrating but crucial for motivating the trio.
They're on their own now, more than ever.
Feeling frustrated by Fudge's incompetence? Give us a like if you share the trio's determination. Subscribe to see how they fight back. And share with anyone who understands the failures of bureaucracy. #tag boy MRA, Aragog fear, misunderstanding, and truth in darkness. So Dumbledore's gone. Hagrid's been dragged off to Azkaban, unjustly accused. But just as Hagrid was being taken away, he managed to give Harry and Ron a cryptic clue.
What was it?
Follow the spiders. He muttered it quietly, knowing they'd understand he meant the spiders that seemed to be fleeing the castle in droves. He adds, they'll lead you right.
Follow the spiders. Where? Into the Forbidden Forest at night. Ron must have loved that idea.
Ah, exactly. Ron is terrified of spiders, absolutely phobic. But for Hagrid, they know they have to do it. So armed with Harry's wand, Ron's is still broken, and Fang, Hagrid's cowardly boarhound, they head into the dark, menacing Forbidden Forest, following the trail of spider.
This sounds like a terrible idea.
It feels like one. The forest is even creepier at night. They follow the spiders deeper and deeper off the path into the darkest part of the woods, until the spiders become enormous, huge, the size of dinner plates, then small ponies.
Oh, no, no, no.
And then they find themselves in a hollow, surrounded by hundreds, maybe thousands, of these giant spiders clicking their pincers, their many eyes gleaming in the dark. And then, descending from the shadows on a silken thread, comes the patriarch.
Aragog.
A monstrous spider the size of a small elephant, ancient, blind with cataracts, but perfectly capable of speaking. He recognizes Harry's voice because Hagrid has spoken of him.
Hagrid's friend is a giant talking spider who commands an army of other giant spiders in the Forbidden Forest.
It's terrifying. Aragog confirms Hagrid raised him from an egg, kept him hidden in the castle decades ago. He confirmed Hagrid's innocence. Aragog was the creature Hagrid was accused of unleashing, but Aragog insists he never harmed that girl, Myrtle. He says the real monster is something else, something ancient, something born in the castle that spiders fear above all else, which is why they're fleeing.
So Aragog's unsettling tale actually provides crucial information. It clears Hagrid's name, at least in their minds, and confirms there's another monster. But does he let them go?
No. Aragog says Hagrid forbid him to harm humans, but he can't deny his hungry children fresh meat when it wanders so willingly into their web. The spiders close in, ready to attack. It looks like the end for Harry and Ron.
Nightmare fuel. Pure nightmare fuel, especially for anyone with arachnophobia.
Absolutely. But just as the spiders are about to pounce, salvation arrives again.
The Ford Anglia.
The Ford Anglia. The car that drove off into the forest earlier bursts through the trees, headlights blazing, engine roaring, acting on its own volition. It scoops up Harry, Ron, and Fang and battles its way through the swarm of giant spiders, eventually carrying them back to the edge of the forest, battered but alive.
That car has more personality than some humans. What a rescue.
Incredible timing. This whole chapter is just a visceral, terrifying exploration of fear, primal fear. And also, interestingly, the theme of misunderstood creatures again.
Like Hagrid's love for dangerous beasts.
Exactly. Aragog is genuinely monstrous, terrifying, and fully prepared to let his children eat Harry and Ron, yet he also reveals hidden truths. He clears Hagrid's name, points towards the real danger, and challenges our immediate assumptions about good and evil, or at least about who holds the key information. Even terrifying monsters can offer vital clues.
It highlights how fear, like Ron's arachnophobia amplified 1,000 times, can blind us to nuances, can prevent us from seeking truth, even from frightening sources. They almost died, but they got crucial answers.
And you mentioned environmental empathy earlier. Maybe there's a tiny sliver of that here, too. Not that Aragog is cuddly, but it's about understanding even the creatures we fear, respecting their place, maybe. It's subtle.
Perhaps. Questioning our immediate judgment of the unknown, the other. Even when the other is a giant talking spider, it's complex.
And the audiobook version of this,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. If you have arachnophobia, maybe skip this part.
Jim Dale's spider voices.
Oh, they're chilling. Aragog's voice is deep, ancient, clicking, utterly alien. The sounds of the hundreds of smaller spiders skittering, their pincers snapping. Dale makes the listener's skin literally crawl. He transforms the forest encounter into this pulse-pounding, claustrophobic nightmare.
You feel completely surrounded by them.
Totally. You are right there with Harry and Ron, trapped in that hollow, hearing the rustling of countless legs, the looming presence of Aragog, the pervasive, suffocating fear. It's an auditory experience that truly defines terror. And then the car's dramatic rescue is just as vivid.
Wow. An unforgettable chapter, for sure. Chapter 15 delivers horror and answers in equal measure.
It really does. Did Aragog give you the creeps? Let us know with a like. Subscribe to see what they do with this terrifying information, and share with anyone brave enough to face the Forbidden Forest. #TagCheckCheckC. The Chamber of Secrets bravery and teamwork in the abyss.
Okay, so Aragog confirmed Hagrid's innocence and revealed the monster is something spiders fear, something born in the castle. And Hermione, before she got petrified herself.
Right. Another attack happened while Harry and Ron were in the forest. Hermione and a Ravenclaw girl, Penelope Clearwater, were found petrified near the library. Devastating.
But even petrified, Hermione provides the final clue. Harry and Ron find a crumpled page ripped from a book clutched in her frozen hand.
What does it say?
It describes the basilisk, King of serpents, huge, deadly, kills with its gaze, but also notes that spiders flee before it, confirming Aragog's story. And crucially, Hermione has scribbled a note on the page. Pipes.
Pipes. That's how it's moving around the castle unseen. Through the plumbing. That's the voice Harry's been hearing in the walls.
Exactly. And the entrance to the chamber's secrets. Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. Myrtle was the girl killed 50 years ago. She died looking into the basilisk's eyes, reflected probably. The entrance must be there.
All the pieces click into place. But just as they figure it out, McGonagall announces the school might close. And worse, Ginny Weasley has been taken.
Taken by the monster. Into the chamber.
Yes, another message appears on the wall. Her skeleton will lie in the chamber forever. It's personal now. It's Ron's sister. They know they have to go down there, despite McGonagall ordering students back to their dorms.
They grab Lockhart, intending to force him to come. He is the defense teacher after all, but find him packing, planning to flee. He reveals he's a fraud, admitting he stole other wizard stories and wiped their memories.
Total coward. They force him at one point to come with them to Myrtle's bathroom. Harry speaks Parseltongue to a snake carving on a tap, revealing a hidden entrance, a dark, slimy pipe leading straight down.
So they descend. Down into the slimy, perilous labyrinth beneath Hogwarts, guided by Hermione's vital clues, carrying the useless Lockhart with them. It's this high-stakes life-or-death quest to save Ginny from the monstrous basilisk.
Every single step is fraught with danger. Tunnels filled with bones, shed basilisk skin. Lockhart tries to wipe their memories with Ron's broken wand, but it backfires spectacularly, hitting himself instead, causing massive memory loss and triggering a cave-in that separates Harry from Ron and Lockhart.
Leaving Harry to go on alone, to face the chamber, the air, and the basilisk all by himself.
This whole sequence, the descent, the obstacles, it's the ultimate showcase of the trio's strengths, even with Hermione petrified. Her intellect provides the key, Ron's loyalty drives him forward despite his fear and deals with Lockhart, and Harry's bravery pushes him onward alone.
It's that unwavering determination, that unbreakable teamwork even when separated, in the face of deadly, overwhelming danger. It's a profound testament to what courage truly means.
It's not about not being scared, is it? It's about facing death head-on to protect a friend, to save Ginny, even when the odds seem utterly impossible.
And Rowling's use of mythology here is so effective again. The basilisk, the king of serpents, lurking in hidden tunnels beneath the castle. It draws on those ancient fears, those classical mythological serpents like the Lernaean Hydra or Medusa, whose gaze could kill.
She blends that ancient symbolism, that primal fear of snakes and hidden monsters, with this really compelling 1990s adventure narrative. It feels both timelessly significant and incredibly modern in its execution. It taps into deep cultural archetypes of the hero facing the beast in the lair.
Giving the final confrontation immense weight.
And the audiobook journey down there? It's heart-stopping. Jim Dale's narration makes every single moment of this descent a nail-biting cliffhanger.
You feel the claustrophobia.
Completely. His delivery is breathless, intense. Every slimy step down that pipe, every echoing sound in the tunnels, the discovery of the giant snake skin, Lockhart's backfiring spell, the cave-in, he makes it all a visceral, heart-stopping dive for the listener.
You can almost feel the slime underfoot, the suffocating darkness, the rising panic, the anticipation, and the sheer terror of what lies ahead in the chamber itself. His pacing is masterful, amplifying the suspense.
It really is. A truly gripping journey into the abyss. Chapter 16 is all about courage, clues coming together and raising the stakes to their absolute peak.
Harry is alone now, facing the ultimate evil.
Feeling the tension as Harry descends, hit like. Subscribe to witness the final confrontation and share this thrilling journey into the chamber. #TagD. The air of Slytherin destiny, choice, and the triumph of good. So, Harry makes it past the cave-in, alone, into the Chamber of Secrets proper. It's vast, eerie, lined with snake carvings. And at the far end lies Ginny Weasley, pale and cold, seemingly dead.
And standing over her
is a tall, handsome, dark-haired boy. Tom Riddle, looking exactly as he did in the diary's memory 50 years ago. But he's not a memory now. He's solid somehow.
How is that possible? The diary.
Exactly. Riddle reveals he's a memory, preserved in the diary for 50 years. He explains how Ginny poured her heart out to the diary, her fears, her secrets, making herself vulnerable. Riddle fed on her fears, grew stronger, and slowly possessed her, forcing her to open the chamber, unleash the basilisk, write the messages.
So Ginny was being controlled? She wasn't the heir?
No, she was the puppet. And Riddle reveals his full name, Tom Marvolo Riddle, which he demonstrates by rearranging the letters matically, spells, I am Lord Voldemort.
Whoa! Tom Riddle is Voldemort. A younger version, a memory given form, but still him. The heir of Slytherin himself.
The chilling truth revealed. Voldemort explains his plan. Use Ginny's life force to restore himself fully, kill Harry, and unleash the basilisk again. He mocks Harry, mocks Dumbledore, mocks love itself, and then he summons the basilisk.
The giant serpent emerges from the shadows. Harry is trapped, facing his nemesis in his younger, terrifying form, and the monstrous creature he controls. It looks hopeless.
It really does. Harry is cornered, the basilisk's deadly gaze sweeping towards him. But then, music echoes through the chamber. Fawkes, Dumbledore's phoenix, arrives in a burst of flame.
Dumbledore's message. Help will always be given.
Fawkes flies straight at the basilisk, blinding it with its talons, removing its deadliest weapon, the killing gaze. And Fawkes also drops something at Harry's feet. The sorting hat.
The sorting hat. What use is that?
It seems useless. Riddle laughs. But Harry, desperate, puts it on, and feels something hard press against his head inside it. He pulls it out. It's a sword. A magnificent silver sword encrusted with rubies. The sword of Gryffindor.
Wow. So help did arrive. Now he has a weapon.
He does. What follows is this epic, terrifying battle. Harry, armed with the sword, fighting the giant, blinded basilisk in the echoing chamber, dodging its venomous fangs. Riddle watches, confident of his victory.
Harry manages to climb one of the huge statues, lures the basilisk upwards, and plunges the sword of Gryffindor through the roof of its mouth, killing it. But in its death throes, one of its fangs sinks deep into Harry's arm.
Basilisk venom. It's fatal. Harry collapses, dying. Riddle gloats. Victory seems his.
But Fawkes returns. The phoenix lands beside Harry and cries onto the wound. Phoenix's tears have powerful healing properties. The venom is neutralized. Harry survives.
Incredible. And now Harry knows what he has to do. He grabs the basilisk fang from his arm, stumbles over to the diary lying nearby, and plunges the venom-soaked fang into its pages.
What happens?
Ink pours out like blood. Riddle screams, writhes, becomes transparent, and then vanishes completely. The memory, the piece of Voldemort's soul tied to the diary, is destroyed. And Ginny stirs, waking up alive.
Victory. Hard won. Incredibly costly, but victory.
This chapter, it's just immense. It's the thematic core, not just of this book, but maybe the whole series, crystallizing right here is this dramatic elemental showdown between good and evil.
And it powerfully highlights that central theme. It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities.
Exactly. That's what Dumbledore tells him later. Harry chose Gryffindor. The sword came to him. He chose to fight, chose compassion. His courage, his personal choices define him far more profoundly than his Parseltongue ability, his connection to Voldemort, his bloodline, or any prophecy.
His heart, his inherent compassion, his loyalty, his belief in what's right, his connection to Dumbledore's values, those become his greatest weapons against Riddle's cunning, his ancient power, his belief in pure blood superiority.
We have a powerful message about self-determination. And this battle, it resonates with those broader mythological or even religious allegories, doesn't it? The hero slaying the serpent, confronting primordial evil in its lair.
Absolutely. St. George and the Dragon, Perseus and Medusa. These archetypes are woven in, but contextualized within those very 1990s heroic ideals of self-determination, empathy overcoming hatred, and innate moral strength winning out over inherited status or dark power.
It's a powerful, enduring message. You are defined not by where you come from or what abilities you possess, but by the choices you make, especially when faced with true adversity and the lure of darkness.
And Jim Dale's performance must be incredible here, the final confrontation.
Oh, it is. His portrayal of Riddle is at its most menacing. You feel the pure, cold evil radiating from him, the absolute certainty of his victory, the contempt in his voice. It's chilling.
And then Harry's victory.
Dale narrates the battle with breathless intensity. You hear the clash of sword against scale, Fawkes' cry, the basilisk's hiss, Harry's desperate efforts, and then his triumphant, almost breathless narration of Harry's hard-won victory destroying the diary. Ginny waking up makes this epic battle utterly unforgettable.
You feel the crushing weight of destiny averted, the surprising power of a free choice made under pressure, and the sheer exhausted elation of Harry's triumph against truly impossible odds. It's cathartic.
Absolutely. The climax delivers on every level. Chapter 17 is the heart of the book.
An incredible showdown.
Thrilled by Harry's victory against Riddle and the Basilisk, hit that like button, subscribe for the aftermath and resolution, and share this epic confrontation. Hashtag TJ Dobby's reward loyalty, freedom, and a quiet hero. Okay, deep breaths, everyone. Harry has defeated the memory of Voldemort, destroyed the diary, killed the basilisk, and saved Ginny. He, Ginny, Ron, and the memory-wiped Lockhart are rescued from the chamber by Fawkes.
What an ordeal. What happens when they get back up to the main castle?
They emerge into McGonagall's office, where Dumbledore has miraculously returned, along with Mr. and Mrs. Weasley, who are frantic about Ginny. There's relief, explanations, tears. Dumbledore calmly assesses the situation, clears Hagrid completely, sends word to Azkaban.
And Lockhart.
Still clueless. Needs permanent care, sadly. Dumbledore reassures Harry about his Parseltongue ability, explaining the connection to Voldemort from the night his parents died, and delivers that crucial line about choices defining us more than abilities.
But the story isn't quite over. There's still the matter of how the diary got to Ginny in the first place.
Right. Lucius Malfoy storms into the office, furious that Dumbledore is back, Dobby the house elf trailing miserably behind him. Harry puts the pieces together. Lucius must have planted the diary back at Flourish and Blots.
To discredit Arthur Weasley, get Dumbledore fired, and maybe unleash chaos.
Exactly. But Harry can't prove it. Lucius sneers, denies everything, and is about to leave, kicking Dobby away, when Harry has a moment of inspiration.
What does he do?
He takes the destroyed diary, slips his own dirty sock inside it, and hands it back to Lucius Malfoy, saying, "You drop this."
Malfoy, disgusted, rips the sock out and throws it aside, right into Dobby's waiting hands.
And Dobby catches it. Clothing, given by his master, albeit indirectly and unknowingly. According to house elf rules,
Dobby is free.
Dobby is free. The elf is overcome with emotion, ecstatic. Lucius is furious, tries to attack Harry, but Dobby blasts him backwards with magic, protecting Harry. You shall not harm Harry Potter. It's a triumphant moment.
Wow. Harry uses his cleverness not just to defeat Voldemort, but to free Dobby from his abusive master. That's brilliant.
It really is. The final chapter wraps things up beautifully. Hogwarts begins its slow process of healing. The petrified students are cured with Mandrake Restorative Draft, exams are canceled, Gryffindor wins the House Cup thanks to points awarded for saving the school, and the trio reflects on their extraordinary, terrifying adventure. But the lasting image is Dobby's joyous, utterly deserved liberation.
This final chapter beautifully brings together those profound themes we've been tracking. Loyalty, Dobby's unwavering, now freely given loyalty to Harry, the transformative power of compassion, Harry caring enough to free him, and the incredible impact of seemingly small acts.
Harry didn't use powerful magic against Lucius. He used wit, understanding of the rules, and a dirty sock.
Exactly. It shows how cleverness and empathy can affect significant change and bring about true freedom. It's an understated moment of heroism for Harry, proving that true strength isn't just about fighting monsters with a sword, but about fighting for justice and liberation for those who cannot fight for themselves using the tools you have.
And Dobby's liberation, it connects back to those social justice themes again, doesn't it?
Very strongly. It emphasizes personal agency, the importance of challenging systems of oppression and exploitation, even within a magical context where those systems seem ancient and entrenched. It's a powerful, resonant message about fighting for what's right, however small or overlooked the act may seem. One sock can change a life. It shows how one individual can make a difference for another.
It's such a hopeful ending after all the darkness. And Jim Dale's narration of Dobby's freedom, it's just perfect.
Pure joy.
Pure, unadulterated joy. His Dobby voice, which was previously high-pitched with fear and desperation, transforms. It's full of wonder, gratitude, sheer ecstatic happiness. Then his fierce protectiveness of Harry against Malfoy. It provides this incredibly heartwarming, even tear-jerking conclusion to the story.
Wrapping everything up in this beautiful, hopeful moment of freedom, loyalty rewarded, and justice of a sort being served.
Exactly. A truly satisfying end to a very dark and dangerous year. Chapter 18 brings relief and resolution.
And freedom for Dobby. A quiet hero gets his reward.
Moved by Dobby's freedom. Give us a final like for this deep dive, subscribe for future explorations, and share the magic and meaning of this story. #tagoutro.
So we've journeyed through the shadows of summer, faced prejudice and incompetence, battled giant spiders and basilisks, and uncovered the secrets of Tom Riddle's diary. What does this all mean for us? This deep dive into the Chamber of Secrets. It really wasn't just about a hidden monster lurking beneath a school, was it?
Not at all. It's fundamentally about the other monsters. Monsters of prejudice, the insidious nature of manipulation and propaganda through things like the diary, the chilling failures of authority figures like Fudge, and the incredible courage it takes to stand against all of that, especially when the world suspects you of being the monster.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it, standing up for what's right, even when you're the one being accused.
Indeed. And if we try and connect this to the bigger picture, beyond Hogwarts, beyond the wizarding world, it raises some important questions that echo far beyond the pages of this book, questions that feel maybe even more relevant today. Like what?
Well, think about it. In a world, our world, where information can be so easily, deliberately manipulated, fake news, deep fakes, propaganda, where fear can be weaponized to turn us against each other based on difference, how do we discern truth from deception?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Especially when the deception is subtle or plays on existing fears.
Exactly. And what role does individual courage play in defending what's right, particularly when that means standing up to established authority that might be misguided or corrupt, or challenging the prevailing popular opinion, the sort of mob mentality we saw directed at Harry?
It takes guts, real guts, like Harry going down into the chamber alone, or Hermione facing that slur, or Ron facing the spiders.
It does. So here's something to mull over, maybe until our next deep dive. Consider this. When you're faced with whispers, accusations, conflicting narratives in your own life, in the world around you, are you more likely to trust the loudest voice, the one that screams the easiest answer, the convenient scapegoat?
Or will you make the effort to look deeper? To seek out those quiet acts of loyalty, like Ron sticking by Harry? To uncover the inconvenient truths, like Hermione did in the library? To recognize the selfless choices, like Harry freeing Dobby, that often go unnoticed but hold the true keys to integrity, to understanding, and ultimately to combating the real monster? Something to think about.